The following program is an OCAmedia community-produced episode of Oregon Life, and we would like to thank our sponsor, the Oregon Brooklyn Optimist Club. We are proud to have you as a sponsor. Hello, I'm Frank Caruso, producer of Oregon Life, and welcome back to part 2 of the special 14 South Artists 20th anniversary. In this episode, we're going to meet some more amazing artists and their amazing artwork as they talk about, again, their inception of art and why they love art so much. And, when you're in town, visit the Pump House where their art is displayed and rotated. So enjoy this episode, part 2, 14 South Artists, here on Oregon Life.
Hello, my name is Michelle Marks, and I am a stained glass artist, Marks Studio. You can find me on Facebook. And I have been with the 14 South Artists now for just about 3 years. And I was thrilled to join as a juried artist, specifically because I really wanted to meet other artists and get my art out there and really begin the process of becoming a professional artist, so to speak. It was really important for me to join this organization because I wanted to first meet, as I said, many artists, and not necessarily stained glass artists, but artists from all sorts of genres, and learn techniques, learn how they get their art out to the public, as well as learn how they reach out to the community. That was one of the other aspects of joining 14 South, was really getting to work and share my art with the public, with the community. I wanted to make sure that the pieces that I was creating, were reaching a wide audience, whether it be through the art gallery here in Oregon, or for that matter, one of the many aspects of being a 14 South artist is you have many more opportunities to show and display your art through the events that 14 South has put on, such as the Regional Art Tour or the UW Hospital Show. For that matter, many of the artists do other off-side events, and so then they share those events with us artists. And it is a really great opportunity for us to get our name out there, our work, and become known or discovered, so to speak. So I was very excited for that, to join 14 South. And from that aspect, it then forayed or stepped me into becoming actually on the Village of Oregon Art Committee and bringing art, more art, not just my own art, but public art to Oregon and the Village of Oregon, because I really enjoy art, and art is such a huge impact for myself as well as an economic impact for everybody. And we wanted to make sure that we were bringing art to everybody.
Hi, my name is James Shulkin. I'm a mixed media sculpture artist. I really enjoy being a part of the 14 South Artists group. I've been a member for about 3 years, and I got juried in because of my sculptural work. And at the time then I was making a lot of tabletop sculptures, birds and chickens especially, fish. And I really enjoyed making representations of the natural world. I've been a fisherman most of my life. I grew up around art in my family. My parents, they weren't exactly artistic, but my father certainly had a very good eye for artwork, and my mother was very clever in terms of things she'd make around the house. So growing up in Milwaukee, They took me to the Lakefront Festival of Arts, and we'd go to art exhibits at that time it was called the War Memorial Art Museum, sort of the predecessor of the art museum there now. And so I just got exposed to lots of artwork, lots of music. My siblings were very artistic themselves, and music and dance and things like that. So I've been around art all the time. I found that in high school I was a very good photographer. So that was really my first introduction into, high quality kinds of expectations for artwork, which was a lot of fun. But then, you get busy with life and college and work and marriage and kids. And it was really in the last 12 years that I started making art again. And it was very much influenced by outsider art, which is a genre of American folk art and international folk art. And it's individuals who are self-taught artists. Often our outsider artists have some kind of mental handicap of some kind. So I'm very much inspired by that sort of joie de vivre that they have to make art. They're motivated by some internal need to express themselves artistically. And I found as I got older, I had that same need. So I ended up making my own artwork. Started out with windmills. I made garden windmills. That was a lot of fun, but a lot of work. And then I decided to start working with found pieces of assemblage. And now what I make are wall hangings that are sculptures. I primarily focus on the things that you'd find common in folk art, which is folk artists typically make representations of the things and people around them. So I make a lot of art that focuses on women, highlighting sort of feminist issues, things that make women strong women, that tie into sort of their emotional needs and their desires to express love and happiness and self-empowerment. And that's what I've been doing a lot lately.
All right, I'm Christina Kastner. I'm a mixed media painting artist. I have been creating art since I was 5 years old. Art is, I think it's just part of my spirit. It's part of who I am. I've always been just in the creative mindset. Even though I'm a clinical scientist by trade, I am an artist by heart. I think art speaks a lot about a community, about a country. I think as a whole, when we look at the art that surrounds us here in the United States, it speaks a lot about freedom, about expression. You think about art in other countries where there's suppression, what is the first thing they do suppress? It's always the art. You think about Hitler, what did he do? He destroyed all the art in Germany. So when you think about art, it's about the expression, it's about freedom. So and especially when you look at art in the United States, it's about diversity and expression. And that's what I love about art, is that it is so diverse. And when you look at the group of 14 South artists, we have so many different artists, so many different media, so many expressions of art that's all very uniquely ours, and it's so individual. And that's what I love about art, is that it speaks to the individual. It's about a creation of the inner spirit of the person that's creating the art. And it's the most beautiful expression of the soul I think there is the creation of art. And my art in itself, that's what I do. I express my soul. I express my communication between me and the universe. When I'm inspired to create a piece of art, whether it's the color orange or a piece of fruit or a flower, I investigate, well, what does that mean to me? If I'm inspired to create an octopus, what does an octopus represent? And then if I choose a color of that octopus, what does that color represent? So creating a piece of art can be very spiritual, very moving, and very inspirational. And I think that's what art is to every artist. It's a very spiritual moment when they're creating.
All right. How I started getting into art was I was in Vietnam, and there were 3 sergeants, and we lived in a bunker underground. And it was the safest place on the base we were stationed. We could be murdered and rocketed, and we still felt safe. And there was electricity down there. My sister was going to the Art Institute in Chicago, and she sent me a packet of acrylic paints and a pad. And I spent time painting in the bunker when I was off duty. And again, it was the safest place to be. So over the years, I've lost the ability to be very detailed in my art, and so I graduated to abstract art and using oil and cold wax to create art. Being part of 14 South Artists gave me an opportunity to learn about all the different varieties of art that you can experience, and there's also a tremendous camaraderie working with all the other artists. It's just a great group, and it offers an opportunity for sales. And I love talking to people about my art, and it's very fulfilling for me.
I got into art because my family was into art, and my mother and my sister, I was surrounded by it as I grew up. So that was a big help, and I really didn't practice it until I retired, but I suppose in a way I was practicing it in life and making maps, which is what I did. So I had sort of the elements of understanding about composition and colors and what you want to talk about in your art. And so, at the same time, I've always been interested in printmaking, which is sort of a form of reproducing art in multiples, but everyone being a little bit different. So it's often in printmaking that the method itself is what's very interesting about how you accomplish the art and the method used to make reproductions of the art. So, and you have to think a different way than just applying paint to something. And that applying paint takes a lot of talent, and which I'm trying to do myself as time goes on, but printmaking is sort of a different kind of approach to making art. So that's been my focus right now. And coming up with the ideas for something to do, that's sort of a constant, regardless whether I'm going to paint it or whether I'm going to do a silk screen of it or a wood cut or a lino cut or whatever. Anyway, the ultimate result is what counts, and so that's how I got into it, and that's kind of what I do, which is currently printmaking.
I have a long history of being an artist. I was pretty successful as a child, kind of prodigy in the Chicago area. I actually did a commission for Paul Tillich, the philosopher. He had me do a picture of the story of the blind man and the elephant. That was kind of a highlight from when I was young. And I stopped painting for a long time. You know, I had children. I was part of the Ovens of Brittany restaurants that kept me really busy for many years. And then I started up painting again, and it's just really my passion. And I've been a member of 14 South for quite a few years. You know, I guess probably about 10 years. I don't know, time flies by awfully fast. And I've been provided with a lot of opportunities to show my work through 14 South. I'm very grateful for that. And you know, it's always a thrill to sell a painting. I don't know, you want the money so you can continue continue making art and make room for new pieces and so forth. But you know, the idea that somebody would pay, you know, a lot of money for something of yours that you've made is a thrill, because it means they loved it, and that's really the reward, is people loving the work and enjoying the work. And I do impressionism and, you know, realism, and I like to do animals. Lately I've been specializing in sort of these goddess paintings that have kind of mythological overtones. Those are kind of my favorites, these embodiments of nature spirits and just the life, you know, images about the life that is contained in really all things in nature. I try to have them mean something. I try to make the paintings have a little message of some kind.
So art for me in this community is simply adding color to the people and places that we live within. It adds vibrancy and imagination, and I think that it's so important to helping us see different perspectives and different ideas. It makes our minds think differently. As a mother of young kids, it's nice for them to see art in their life. My daughter once, when we visited the art center, mentioned to me as we left, "Oh my goodness, you can do art all your life." And she seemed to really understand that art can be a hobby, but it can also be a lifestyle, and it can really help to bring such joy to life. And so that's why I think it's so important to support it and to celebrate it whenever you can. Thanks.